Hello, welcome, good afternoon. I've swapped hats and I'm presenting now. So because we have a very special lady in the studio, our floor manager Ben's just looked at me and said, do you know each other? Yes. It's like, it's either that or I thought you'd got to know each other very quickly. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce you. Now, some of you might not recognise her official name, which is Hashtagsew, but you will definitely recognise the face. It's Jenny Jackson, everybody. Yay! Welcome, 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 Jenny. It's so good to have you here. Oh, she's smiling. There we go. We've got a smile. It's all good. Jenny, as a lot of you know, is incredible at English paper piecing. She has just so many ideas. She fuses bright, bold, gorgeous, modern designs with this traditional English paper piecing craft. I've never known anyone actually being able to whip up an English paper pieced piece as quick as Jenny does, but she has, and she's brought us some amazing items today. So we've got bag, we've got cushions, and we've got a wall hanging as well, and they're absolutely superb. So if you've never had a go at English paper piecing before, Jenny is the one to teach you, hands down, absolutely. And so let's have a look at what she's brought for us today. She's got a beautiful Hashtagsew Crosses tote bag kit. So what we've got here are two different options. This is your Indian summer. Now, the fabric, let's talk about the fabric, because Jenny is a kindred spirit in that she likes lovely quality fabrics. These are all either Macawa or Andover fabrics, which if you know your fabrics, you will know will be great quality. And look at the colourways. It's a tough decision, isn't it, choosing the colours, Jenny?
It really is.
But one of my favourite bits. I don't know about you. And I love that you've teamed it with the cool grey. Those bright colours with the cool grey, just gorgeous. Perfect. This option is sunburst over here. And I just adore the clash of the pink and the orange and the yellow. It's just so vibrant and fabulous. $28.99 gets you this. Or the other one. You just have to choose. That's the hardest decision, is which one to go for. Have you got a favourite, Jenny?
What am I
saying?
I would like to say the purples because I love purple, but then the sunburst colourway was my risky colourway, and I actually love it.
Sometimes that's the thing, isn't it? You go for a risk and it ends up being, which is a big statement for you because you normally have very purple hair. That's how much you love purple.
Yeah.
So actually, that says a lot about this one. Can we expect pink hair then soon?
I mean, you never know.
You never know. There are options. In the kit, you get full instructions. You get the English paper pieces all made for you, ready to go. So we're going to show you how to do all of that. So you'll get that, and you'll also get all of the fabric as well in there. You just need to add your thread. That is it. Gorgeous, utterly gorgeous. Come with me this way, because we've got cushions. I love that Jenny has brought us something for everyone. So whether you just love to make cushions, or whether you need another bag, or whether actually wall hangings and lap quilts are your thing, there's something for everybody on the show today. Now, first option is your sunburst, which goes beautifully with the bag, actually. Lovely. Now, we were trying to decide what the name of this shape is. Three of them together obviously make your, hang on, it's not a hexagon, is it? It's pentagon. Pentagon. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 6?
Yeah, it's 6.
Yeah, it is 6. Oh, it is the hexagon. Good, good, good. It's when you start looking at it, it kind of, it's like, oh, hang on, is that a different side because it's different? It's lovely. The illusion of it is just absolutely beautiful. And the colours, again, absolutely exquisite. Fabrics from Macawa, just beautiful. Again, with those shapes. These are unusual English paper piecing shapes as well, which I just love. Full pattern, pieces and fabric. That is your option number 1, which is your Hashtagsew. So abstract crown cushion. Yeah, we decided they were crowns. They're a bit wonky, but that's all good. This is your strawberry jam version here. I could see this in an English country kitchen. It would be gorgeous. Afternoon tea cafe, or failing being able to actually go out to an afternoon tea cafe, just bring it to yourself. Bring it home. Have it sit in the back garden. Have a bit of sunshine, glass of Pimm's. You might not be sewing after a glass of Pimm's, but you know, it's all good. And you've got these lovely summer fruit colours there. And that is $25.99. 722205. Let's take a step in this direction, sort of, but not, because I'm going to stand here for a second and show you. We've got strawberry jam here in your wall hanging, and then your Indian summer option here. So this is your strawberry jam. So you can coordinate. You can have your cushion with your wall hanging. Would also work as a lap quilt, wouldn't it, Jen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. This is a beginner's project. If you've never English paper piece before, then we'll get you sewing those flowers. Oh, I like that little bit of fussy cut in there with the strawberry in the middle. Hasn't gone unnoticed. Look at that. Gorgeous. And then we've got the Indian summer version here. I think I love this one. Let me just pop that down so that you can have a good old... Oh, gosh, you don't need my roots in the way. Hashtag lockdown hair. Of many colours. Isn't that beautiful? I just love your way with colour. Really, really beautiful. This is the hardest decision, is deciding which colourway to go for. Ooh, it's $57.99. You get, well, yeah, you get your background. You get your background in there as well. You also get all of your hexes ready to go and your full instructions there as well. You can pay for it over 2 months should you wish to go for that flexi buy option. Of course, that is available for you, and that is 437778. They are your 6 options today on the show, and if you've just joined us, you're in for an absolute treat, because Jenny is our new supplier, and she's going to show us how to do. Well, we're going to start with the English paper piecing this to start off with. That's where we're going. Jump on the web, find your options there. They're all there on the Hochanda website. You can find them all there. So do have a good old look round. And if you need a cushion as well, pop that in your basket. And it is just $11.99 for a pack of 2. Blimey. And then you've got your mini dry iron there and your clip-on magnifying lamp. Oh, that's useful. That's very useful for a spot of your old EBB. And then your hobby gift craft organizer. Pop everything in, take it outside into the sunshine. Pop it all in. It can all go outside with you. Yeah, there we go. Right, Jenny, over to you.
Hello. Right. It's so nice to be here with Tasha. I was really shocked when she messaged me to say that she was coming.
Oh,
Good
yes.
fun, yeah, troublesome. So I decided today I'm just going to start from the very basics of English paper piecing, in case you haven't done them before. So in most of my kits, I'm going to start with the wall hanging. You'll get strips of fabric for the flowers that you can see on them, and then you get like one large piece for the background, which on the white one you can't really tell, but the whole of the white background is hexagons.
Is it?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but the whole thing's hexagons. They're not appliqued on, they're all hexagons.
Wow.
So yeah, so with the big white strip of fabric, you'll just need to cut all your hexagons from it. You can cut it into 2-inch strips and then a square off for your hexagons. So, but this is what your strip will be for your flowers. So it's going to be a 2.5-inch wide strip. So for a 1-inch hexagon, you only need a 2.5-inch square.
Nice.
So what you do with your strips is just simply cut your 2.5-inch square from it. You can usually get about 17 on a width of fabric, 17 squares. So once you've got your square, you can either cut a rough 1/4-inch seam around your hexagon, or if you really want to be accurate to get that seam right, this is how I would do it. I would just put a dab of glue on the hexagon and just place it in the middle of your square that you've just cut, the 2.5-inch squares. My instructions are take you from the very beginning, so you know you know, if you can't catch this, then I've got it all drawn out and photographed in there.
You are very thorough, and actually the comments on
Yeah.
Facebook that I saw from people very excited to see you coming along onto Hochanda were very much that you are very clear, you are very precise and very easy to follow. So if you are new to Jenny, then you're in for an absolute treat, and don't hold back. These kits are gorgeous, and this is a traditional form of sewing. Really beautiful.
Yeah, I think all these kits as well, they are great for beginners.
Yeah, oh absolutely.
They're fine, because they're not too big as well.
Yeah.
So there's not
daunting.
too much to handle as the project grows. So yeah, it's all right. Right, so I've stuck the hexagon just with a tiny bit of the sew line glue, so it peels off really easily. You don't have to worry about that. And then if you just add 1/4 of an inch around your hexagon, I add a 1/4 inch ruler, but you can use any ruler that has a 1/4 inch marking. I just like this one because it has a little ridge and it leans up against the hexagon well. So you can just draw 1/4 of an inch around your hexagon like this.
I find this massively therapeutic.
Yeah, the whole process of English paper piecing is so therapeutic. I think that's why I like it so much, because it is so relaxing, and you can just do it. My always saying, isn't it? Just sit in front of the TV and do it.
Yeah, or you can take it anywhere. When
Yep.
I was pregnant, I made Emily one, a blanket, entirely English paper. It took me 9 months. Took me for 9 months.
Yeah.
But I used to take it to all of my hospital appointments and anything like that, and it was a great conversation starter as well, because people would look and they'd do that British thing of looking but trying not to be seen to be looking, and then after like half an hour, it's just English paper piecing. You can ask, it's fine, and you know, the whole waiting room would end up chatting. So it's something that you can take anywhere, take on the bus, take wherever you're going, and people will stop and ask.
Yeah, I used to do so many train journeys before.
Yeah.
And I was always sewing on the trains, and you're right, people do look at you like, what are you doing? Yeah, and school runs, great for if you're early to the school run, if you've driven, and you can just sit there do it, because I hate sitting still. Not doing
never
anything. You're never sitting still. So as you can see, I've drawn a 1/4 inch seam allowance around the hexagon, and then I'm just going to cut this out. You can use a rotary cutter or scissors, but because I'm usually doing this sat on the sofa, usually with my scissors.
It is a definite one. It used to be for me when my husband's choice of movie was on. But he still wanted my company. I was like, yeah, not really interested in this movie, but I'll be here and I'll just sew. So I didn't feel like I'd lost the whole evening watching a movie I didn't really want to watch.
Yeah, exactly right. So yeah, so I've cut around that seam, around the seam allowance that I just have drawn, and you can thread based hexagons or you can glue base them. I'm going to show you glue basing because it's so much quicker.
Yeah.
It's so much quicker. I never thread based anymore because I don't have time. So you don't need to use much glue at all, and you'll just go, there's so many different ways of doing this, but I always glue onto the fabric. I know a lot of people tend to glue onto the card, but I found the card lasts longer if you glue onto the fabric. Yeah, I don't know why. It could just be the card that I use. But so for this, for the hexy wall hanging with the card, you just get 100 hexes with the kit, and you can reuse them. I mean, the hexagon I'm using right now, I've probably used that about 3 or 4 times already, and it's still perfect.
That's the great thing about it, isn't it? You never throw them away. Take them out, but take them out once you've done everything around it.
Yeah, we're going to show that way. Yeah, so I can use them a good like 5 or 6 times depending on the shape and that. Right, so just going to glue lightly around the edge. I'm going to put it a little bit, I'm going to glue a little bit harder on this just so you can hopefully see it. But you really do only need a tiny bit, and then you just fold it over like this and then go on to the next side. I often just do a little bit of glue around the corner of the next side just because it keeps the fabric nice and crisp. So that's another thing about glue basting is I feel like you get crisper edges to the shapes, whereas sometimes when you're thread basting, because you have to hold it and fold in the air, I don't think the shape's quite as crisp.
Well, you can really use your, I mean, watching you there, you're really using your finger against the edge, and I do the same, just you use it to a butt, don't you, and just to push it and make it crisp.
Definitely. So that is your hexagon complete. So you'll do that on all of the hexagons, and it's totally up to you. I never do all of the basting in one go or all of the cutting because I like to change it. So what I tend to do is do a handful of hexagons, handful of fabrics, and then move on. Do it, sew a bit, and then start again. Yeah. Right. So I've done a few hexagons already so that I can show you how you would sew them together to make one of the flowers that you can see on the wall hangings. So you just need a needle and thread, and I've knotted the bottom of my cotton.
Oh, have you now? Jenny, am I right in thinking that you you are an advocate for milliner's needles? Do you use a milliner needle?
Yeah, John James Milliners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Size 11.
Really specific.
Yeah, really specific.
Yeah.
Size 11, and they can be quite hard to find sometimes. So whenever I go to any quilt shows, they're always there, John James. So I'm there. I get in packs and packs of them because they don't last forever, do they? Needles, especially if you use them as much as I do. They start. I think I might be quite heavy-handed with them because they always bend in the middle.
I think the milliner's needles are a little bit thinner anyway.
They are really thin, but it's perfect for
yeah.
English paper piecing because you're not leaving any holes in the fabrics when you're sewing through, because when we come to sew them, you'll see, hopefully it will be clear on the screen, that you only catch a few fibres from the fabric when you're sewing together. So that's why the thinner the needle, the better. Right, so when you're sewing your first shapes together, you want to get your middle of your flower, and I've called it a petal, and you place them right sides together like this. So you're just matching up one edge. Well, they'll all match up, but yeah, you're going to sew down one edge to start with. I use a quilter's clip just to hold the edge like this, because if you're going to sew for a long time, or you've got any problems with your hands, arthritis or anything, it takes the strain off the hand you're not sewing with.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you don't want them to move, you do. And I noticed that when I first started English paper piecing, I was holding it so tight that my hand was starting to hurt. So now that I've clipped it...
Do you know, you're right, in there.
Yeah. And then the pain just goes up to your wrist, doesn't it? Yeah. So
I hadn't thought about it.
If you just use a little clip, especially, it's even better if you're using bigger shapes, because I have a tendency to design with like quite large English paper piecing shapes. It's quicker to make then, isn't it? But right, so yeah, it will take the strain off. I'm left-handed, so sometimes it comes across a bit odd when I'm hand sewing. So you might want to go from the other way, but we'll see. So I've knotted the cotton, and I'm just going to go up. Hopefully you can see this. Yeah. Just going to go up in one corner and catch just a few fibres from the fabric. You don't go through the card at all, because you're going to be removing the card once it's time, and I'll show you when that is. So you just pull it through, and you're going to go all the way across this side, just catching a few fibres. You can feel the card with the needle, so you know that you won't go through it accidentally. So you're just going to keep going, just doing a small whip stitch. I tend to, when I'm on TV, I tend to do slightly larger whip stitches just because it's quicker. But they need to be quite small. And when you've opened your shapes up, if you can see the stitches, that's fine.
Yeah.
The whole point is to get a nice handmade feel.
I can't remember if it was you or who it was that told me that there are actually English paper piecing competitions that you can enter.
It wasn't me.
Oh no. And in the competition criteria, it does say that it is okay for you to see your stitches. So it's actually a thing that it's okay. You know, even if you are at competition level, who knew? Who knew?
I need to get on this.
That was a thing. I know. I just sort of assumed it must have been you, but obviously not.
No, definitely not.
I've been English paper piecing cheating, obviously.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jenny.
Oh, wow. Who are you cheating on me with?
I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll be giving you, I'll be questioning you.
There'll be a
after the
grilling
show.
later.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm in for it now. That's it.
There we go. So you just go all the way to the corner of that side of the shape, and then you can open it out. So you've got your two shapes sewn together. I mean, you'd have to look very close to see the stitches. I tend to use a coordinating thread, but if it's really multicoloured, I tend to go for a grey, like a lighter grey.
Yeah.
Because that blends in quite well if you do see the stitches. But, you know, if you're using a very majority pink one, use a pink thread. Right, so I have sewn these two shapes together. So the next one, you're just going to grab another petal and you're going to put it right sides together with the centerpiece again, like you did before. And just clip it to keep it in place. And because you haven't broken off that thread, you can just keep going round. So you're just going to go from that corner.
Do you find you lose track of time when you're doing this?
Yeah, all the time. Just get carried away.
I had to start setting an alarm on my phone to remember to go and pick up Freddie because I'd just get engrossed. It's awful, isn't it? But I'd just be sitting there going, I'll just do one more.
Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, I think I've got time to add one more hexagon. I'll just add
little
one
bit.
more. Yeah, I'll just do the end of this line. And before you know it, the school's calling you. Where are you?
Yeah.
Stuck in traffic, obviously.
Obviously. Yes. Really bad traffic.
Right, so you just carry on going all the way along. And I'm not going to stand here and sew all of that because it's going to take a while. So you would open them all up. I would sew all of the 6 petals around the edge of the outer piece first. So here's one I made before. And so this one, as you can see, I haven't sewn up the sides of the petals. It's basically what you would get from what I was just sewing then. So my tip to make your cards last longer and also to make your project more manageable as it grows is once every side of a shape has been sewn around, remove your card from the centre. So right now I could remove this one here because it's all been sewn around. So I'm just going to show you how easy that fabric glue comes off. And if you don't have nails or anything, another good way to do it is just to get your needle. Let me cut that off. You can just get your needle and you can just run it under the fabric and it will just lift it up completely.
That might be why your needles bend.
I mean, it could be, couldn't it? I usually use my nails, but that's just another option. Right, so I've taken the card out and as you can see, I mean, I do think I've used this at least 3 times. So, you know, you can keep going. They definitely last longer. Okay, so the next stage of making your flowers would be, I always double knot my cotton and I still haven't figured out why. It's a habit. It's something. I just feel like it's definitely going to stay there if I've done it twice. So, right, the next stage would be to sew up your petals of your flower so that they all become attached. So it's as simple as getting 2 right sides together, and as you can see, because I've removed that middle hexagon, it just folds really easy. If you still had your card in, you would have to fold that card, which means it probably wouldn't last as long. You could get a couple of uses, but you wouldn't be able to get 5 or 6 out. So we've folded those 2, and it's just exactly the same as before. Just going to start in the corner and go all the way up. This time, when you get to the edge of the petal, you will just need to knot it off. So I'll go down the edge just to show you how I finish off. Like I said, I am doing much larger whip stitches than I would usually use. It's just so I get across the shape quicker. But I think English paper piecing is not about rushing at all. she says, who constantly has to rush English paper piecing to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
finished.
No,
But
absolutely.
as a hobby, and you know, it's a really, really nice thing to do, and just take your time with.
So Jenny's using the Soline glue pens. I don't think we've got them on the website, have we?
No. Right, when you get to the edge, you just go the end of this edge. Just go through with your needle. I wrap it around a couple of times and just pull it through, and it's knotted. And I often just take one little stitch backwards and then cut it off, which means you've got 2 petals sewn together, and then they're going to be like that. So for this one, it's mixed with lots of white hexagons or grey hexagons, depending on which kit you've bought. And to do the background, I did make all the flowers first, and then I played with them to see what order I wanted them in. You do not have to choose that order. You can do whichever way you want, whichever centre, with whichever petals. There's no rules to it, so just choose what you want. Then you'll baste all your background hexes. Like I said, you don't need to baste them all in one go, just baste a handful of them. And you'll sew 19 together in a row. And then you can then sew 19 in a row, which you can either sew in a row or sew straight above the bottom line. So I've done this pattern starting from the bottom going up. So then on the 3rd row, for example, you'll sew 2 white hexagons. Then you'll add one of your flowers. So you would just sew the bottom of the flower to the previous row, add a hexagon, another flower, and so on. So then you can see the next row you would only add 2 hexagons and then 1 in between each flower and 2 backgrounds on the side.
It's really clear. It's really clear.
I felt like that was the easiest way, because actually when I made this, I hadn't written the pattern. I made it and I was like, oh, how do I actually...
How do you explain this now?
How do I explain this?
Yeah.
So I decided that going from the bottom up and just adding on each row was the easiest way to do it. Yeah. So yeah, that's that for that pattern.
Right, let's have a look then. So if you are after these patterns, then it's just a decision of making which colourway you want to go for. Do you want to go for the greys? Do you want to go for the whites? And you're right, actually, you do have to look really closely to see that all of that white background is hand sewn. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Really beautiful. There are lots of options for quilting on it as well, as was what Jenny was just saying. So it's up to you then how you wish to quilt it. And I can see when that much energy and love has gone into a quilt, I can see why it becomes a wall hanging and not allowed near small sticky fingers. This one is your Indian summer version. And it's $57.99. Look at that. You can really see all those hexes in the background, can't you, on this one? Just beautiful. And those colourways, so rich and vibrant. Utterly beautiful. There we go. You will get your hexes, 100 hexes, and then you get your fabric. There they all are. They're cut into 2.5-inch strips already for you. Jenny, have you kept the background fabric entire so that if people just wanted to just do the flowers and then just applique them on, they can?
I'm not, I hadn't thought of it like that, so I'm not sure. You'll have to do some measurements. So that is actually an option. It might either be slightly bigger or slightly smaller. You could definitely just measure it out, make sure you place it, maybe draw around the hexagons before you sew them on. Yeah. But you could definitely applique them onto the background. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, I think it would be bigger.
It would be bigger.
It would definitely be bigger.
Yeah,
honestly, but you can do that.
It's all right. Paola and I had a show with maths this morning, so we're not going there. Our poor producers go, not that again. Come on, you two, stop it. These are the fabrics for your strawberry jam. There's your white background there as well, and off you go. Aren't they beautiful? All of these. Did you cut all of these? You've cut all these kits?
Yeah, I did.
You have, haven't you?
I cut all the strips.
Please tell me you have a stripology ruler.
Yes.
Yes. See, I know a fellow stripper. And that sounds wrong. 43777. Stripology user. Might have been a better way of saying that. Moving on. Even Hayley's looked up and gone, what's going on over there? Innocently doing something over there. Right, cushions. Let's recover from that one. Outtakes. Two options here. You've got your strawberry jam or your sunburst. There we go. Hang on, can we just enjoy whatever shape this is?
The crown.
Oh, the crown.
The crown.
Wait, that way. That way.
It's yeah, that's when it looks like a crown,
That's
but
when
it's
it looks like a crown.
rotated. Yeah.
I was like, she sat on it. That way's a crown. Yeah, I see that now. Yes, there you go. That's your. How many of those do we get in a kit?
You get enough to make the whole front.
The whole
yeah.
lot, the whole crown. $25.99, 722205. Look at that, they're beautiful, aren't they? Oh, just the colours are gorgeous. These are Macawa fabrics, so high quality fabrics. I think that's important with English paper piecing. You know, you don't want something that's going to be loosely woven because it's just going to shift around. It's going to be a nightmare. And actually, what you might save in money for fabric, you'd lose in the amount of glue you'd have to baste it with because it'd be shifting around all over the place. So start with great ingredients, and that's what we have here. Absolutely gorgeous. $25.99, 722205, and then the bags. Now you've got your lining fabric, your outer fabric, and all of the fabric for all of these gorgeous. Now, what shapes have we got here?
So it's arrows sewn together to make a cross.
That's clever. Look, there are your arrows in the middle there. Ooh.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. You're so clever at putting these shapes together. It's just lovely. Really lovely. And the colours, again, gorgeous. This is your sunburst, and then this is your Indian summer, which is the sort of purpley one over here. That's the technical term.
Yeah.
Technical term. $28.99 there. 183905. The glue pens apparently are on the website. Here they are. So a pack of 2. There you go. This is it. You always need an extra one. So they're on the website for you. Go and find those there. The Soline glue pens are, the glue is specifically made for this kind of thing because it's not a permanent adhesion. So that's why it's absolutely perfect for this job. Over to you, Jenny.
Yep. Actually, 2 is good, 2 pens, because one can be in your travel EPP bag and one can be at home.
Yeah.
If you have one, you'll lose it.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so the cushion and the crowns. I'm just going to show you how to cut and baste those because they are, you know, if you have done English paper piecing before, chances are you've done hexagons. So you might want to try something else other than hexagons, but might be like, oh, is it the same process? It's exactly the same, just different amount of sides on the shapes to baste. So again, in this kit, you get loads of 2.5-inch strips. So this is one that I've cut into already, obviously. So for a crown, you're just going to, I figured that using the strips is, it's quicker to cut out from because you just need that width. So you're going to cut just a 4-inch square, 4-inch square rectangle from this. Let me find my cutter. Like this, and then get one of your shapes. Again, these shapes are still in perfectly good condition, and I've used them a million times. So you can do a dab of glue on this one, just to keep it in place. I'm not going to lie, I don't usually dab glue. I just hold in.
I'm going to be taking your tip about gluing the fabric. Definitely.
Gluing the fabric instead of the card, you mean?
Yeah, I've always done the card, but I can see what you mean. It's, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm taking that. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. So just going to draw around 1/4 inch. Again, around the shape. I won't need to, oh, that pen is done. Good job I brought 2.
You see, you should always have 2 pens. Case in point.
There we go. So for this one, you don't need to draw along the bottom because I've placed it 1/4 inch from the bottom of the fabric.
How precise are you with your 1/4 inches?
Not precise.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're going to be non-precise, is it better to go more or less?
I would say more, purely because when you're pulling the fabric off at the back, when you're taking your card out, if you catch the fabric slightly wrong, you might get one fibre fray slightly. So if you haven't got 1/4 inch, then you just need to be more careful.
Okay.
I mean, we've all done less than 1/4 inch. You know, when we're trying to use up our fabric, Tasha?
Yeah.
You know, waste no inch of fabric.
It's true. It is a great scrap busting.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because the beautiful thing is, once you've got your shapes that come with the kit, I think you will have little bits left over from the kits. So you could just rebaste the shapes and then just start sewing them together and get a little scrappy something.
Perfect.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I've cut the shape out there. So this one is exactly the same, but you'll just go across like this. And as you can see, this shape's much bigger than the hexagon. So glue basting is definitely a lot easier.
Is there a shape you wouldn't English paper piece?
No.
You've gone pretty much through every shape.
Yeah, curves. I mean, I make shapes up, I'm sure of it.
Why not?
So many of my designs, I draw the patterns and I'm like, that looks really pretty. It comes to write in the pattern, what shape is this?
Oh.
It's shape A and shape B.
Yeah, that's
it.
what
it
it
is.
is. Nice swerve. Nice swerve. Do you reckon your son will get away with that in his maths exams?
Yeah.
Well, it's simply shape A and shape B, right?
Yeah, that's what my
Don't
mum
need
said.
to name them.
So in the patterns, I've called the strips fabric 1 to 8 for this one.
Okay.
And said how many you need to cut from each fabric. I haven't specified which fabric strip is 1, 2 or 3 because it is totally up to you.
But you've got the photo on the front,
You've got the
you?
photo
So
on the
you
front
can
and there's also
decide.
plenty of diagrams inside that you could use as
Yeah.
reference, but it is honestly up to you. All the fabrics go together. If you have, so for most of them you would cut 10, but there's a couple you cut 6. So I always say your favourite fabrics out of the strips, cut
Yep.
10.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you're going to love them all, they're fabrics. We love fabrics. But you know, if there's a colour that you want more prominent, make sure you cut 10 of those, not 6 of them.
Well, hang on a minute. Have I got a specific fabric for the handles?
Yeah, there's a separate, there's a thicker strip.
Okay.
For the handles pre-cut.
Oh, that's
you
all
just
right, so
need
I
to
don't
cut
have
it
to
in
choose.
half. The
Right.
cutting instructions will tell you how to cut
You
it.
are very thorough, Jenny. I'll give you that.
Well, I try to be. So, again, in my instructions, I have it exactly step by step. In this one, it's all photographs of the way that I would construct the cushion. So you're going to take, for the majority of the cushion, you're going to take 3 of your crowns, and you would place them so that they look like this, which actually makes a hexagon when they're sewn together.
Yeah, now you have them like that. I'm like, yes, of course it is.
So, I mean, when you look at the cushion, it is quite hard to
Yeah.
tell, especially the strawberry jam one, I think.
I
But
just think it's gorgeous.
yeah, they are basically made up of columns of these sewn together, and then you add a few edge pieces, because then once it's all sewn, you're going to take it out, press it, and cut a 16 or 16.5 inch square to get your cushion. So it's just exactly the same process as before. Always right sides together. As you can see, at bigger shapes, so the clips really come in handy.
Do you get the backing fabric with these as well? You do, don't
For the
you?
cushions, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You get them.
Just so literally just add the cushion pad.
Yep, and for the tote bag, the only thing you need to add is the wadding to make it thicker. But the tote pad is the tote bag is it's great to use up your scraps of wadding, because when you've made a quilt, you always have bits left over.
Yep.
So because it's not too large, I just use normal quilting wadding just to make it a little bit thicker. But if you love making thicker bags, you can use that. Hit me with the name, Natasha.
H640.
Yeah, that is one of them.
Or the sew-in one. There's lots.
Yeah,
there's so many.
loads. So you can choose something thicker, and it will still work fine. It will be, everything works fine. for the interfacing or wadding. Right, so you're just going to sew all the way along this one, which I'm not sure. Do we have time to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
15 minutes. Jenny, how did you whittle down your love of sewing to English paper piecing?
So originally it was because when my son was much younger, I had an older sewing machine and it was really, really loud. So once he'd gone to bed, I never wanted to use my sewing machine for the fear of waking up the child that you'd spent 4 hours trying to get to go to sleep, you know?
Yeah.
The usual.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I started, I'd seen a lot of English paper piecing on Instagram and stuff, and I had done hand sewing when I was younger with my mum, and I'd never done English paper piecing.
Yeah.
So I just, had a go and realised that actually I loved it. And I've always liked geometric shapes. So I started off with just doing hexagons, and before I knew it, I was just designing my own shapes and fitting them together to make different patterns.
Whatever shapes they may be.
What shape A and B.
Yeah.
And and I can't just sit in the evening watching TV without doing something, 'cause I feel like I'm wasting my time.
Do you know, I'm exactly the same.
I get really annoyed with myself.
Yeah,
I'm like, why are you
yeah.
just sitting here when you could be sitting here and doing something and watching whatever you want to watch?
But as soon as you have children, your nights out go, and it's nights in all the way.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have to find something to do instead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and reading, at that point, if I started reading, I'd fall asleep after a paragraph. But sewing kept me awake. So once you've sewn 2 of your shapes together, you can open it out, and you're just going to, you can see this one will slot nicely here. So you're just gonna sew one side first, and when you've got to the edge of that, you can knot it off, and then just sew the other side. You will have to fold this shape in half slightly, but I wouldn't say like crease it at all. You can just like fold it without getting a full crease.
Yeah.
But again, I've done that loads on these, and they're still going strong.
Oh, it's looking good. These colours are beautiful.
Yeah, I have a thing about yellow. I love yellow, and I started with the yellow fabric when I was choosing which colours to put together.
I remember the pile of bolts arriving and just having them. I saw a photo of them just stacked up in your hallway. And they just looked amazing. And I remember thinking back then, because that was quite a while ago, looking at it thinking, what are you up to? What are you making? And I'm so glad that it's these, because they're absolutely beautiful, really beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I love doing different things. I love making quilts, but sometimes it's great to have the smaller EPP projects as well.
Of course.
Especially because obviously EPP full-size quilt, it does take much longer to make. So if you want more of a quick finish, but you still just love hand sewing, then, and also if you are purely a hand sewer, the construction of the cushion and the tote bag is really simple.
It's straight line sewing construction-wise, isn't it?
Completely. And even the quilting, I added some batting to the back of the front of the cushion as well, so I could quilt the front.
Hang on. You added some batting to the back of the front.
Yeah.
Oh, as in this
the front
bit.
of the cushion, yeah, that's quilted.
To the back of, yeah. You know when you're like, there's lots of words there.
There was a lot of words, wasn't there?
Yeah.
But
which
yeah,
order
you
they
always
go in?
again, it's great for using up your scraps of batting.
They're beautiful, Jenny. They're so beautiful.
Thank you.
I could see this on a grey sofa. Wouldn't that look amazing? That hit of colour.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
I have a thing about bright colours and grey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if you can see, the insides of the tote bags are grey, the back of that cushion's grey.
Yeah. I want to know, is your sofa grey?
No. What a shame.
What?
I mean, I'd love a grey sofa. Definitely.
Well, now we want to know what colour your sofa is.
It's not interesting. It's just like a beigey brown.
Can you even see it there? Have you just got that many quilts over it that there's
so
a
many
sofa under
quilts.
there?
Do you know what? I've started putting my quilts up on my walls now.
Good.
Yeah, so I've got like 2 in my living room on the walls, and I'm just trying to figure out a way to get them on my my brickwork on the inside of the hallways.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Really beautiful. Oh, yeah. You see, we are not fabric hoarders. We are house insulators. That's, that's the spin I put on it. And the best tip that someone ever gave me when moving house was just tell your husband that all the boxes of fabric are towels. They'll never look in there. I was like, oh yeah.
Good plan.
Fact, yeah. So we've got these two cushions. Which one are you going to go for? Are you going to go for the sunburst, or are you going to go for your strawberry jam? I like that we've got modern, we've got traditional. It's entirely up to you which way you go. But both, they're happy colours. You've chosen really happy colours, which I think, given the current climate, is perfect. $25.99, 722205. That is your code in order to get either one of these. Beautiful. Now let's have a look at these tote bags down here. Oh, did you want to have a look? Did you want to have a look at the instructions? Yeah, go on. There we go. There are your instructions. Really clear and beautifully bound together as well. So you're not going to lose them. Made into booklets, and then should you need them, you've even got the template on the back. Jenny thinks of everything. Let's have a look at these tote pads. Here we go. Oh, two options again if I just throw them around the place. You've got Indian Summer, which is this one, and Sunburst, this one. Oh, decisions. And if I show you the back of it as well. Yeah, just gorgeous. Just beautiful. And that's, I mean, that is a design choice as to whether or not you have got a winter and a summer. Yeah, you could. Or one for each shoulder, you know. Then that's balanced, right? Very good. Every chiropractor will be saying yes, you should always be balanced with your bags. So you've got your choices. You've got your lining fabric as well, which unsurprisingly now is grey. Now we know why they're grey. There we are. But it sets off those colours an absolute treat. Full photographic, really clear instructions, all of your templates as well. So there's none of that trying to suss out whether or not... anybody that's ever English paper pieced, if they have not tried to make their own templates out of an old cereal packet, is lying to you. It's true. How hard can it be?
That's what I did.
Yes,
when
exactly.
I first started. Yeah.
See, exactly. But you don't have to. Your cereal packets are safe, and it's all done for you, cut out perfectly. It's true. That's why we laugh. $28.99, 183905. Jenny, back over to you.
Right. So I'm just going to finish the cushion quickly. You would fold this one in half here, and just clip here and sew along. And basically that is repeated throughout this pattern. And then you just add more. But like I said, the instructions have exactly what you need to do. So, right, I'm going to go on to the tote bag. Just move these bits out of the way.
Do you have a favourite project?
I just like doing them all. I really enjoyed doing these three.
I'm not surprised. A favourite colourway?
I think it's Sunburst.
It is.
Yeah, like I said before, it was my risky colourway, and when it arrived, I was like, not sure if it's going to be like everyone's taste. But then I was like, when I put them together, I was like, oh wow,
that's it.
Love it. I'm sure I'll be making other stuff out of those colours now. So the tote bag, again, you get your strips of fabric that you're just going to cut. And as you can see here, I have actually done the full step-by-steps of how to cut, draw, and then baste your hexagons. So I just thought it's great when you are moving on to different shapes. And then I've shown you step-by-step of how to make the crosses. And I've got images of the layout and so on. So I've made a couple of crosses so you can see how they actually fit together. This is this particular one is one of the corner pieces of the tote bags.
Nice.
So you would just slot them together like this.
Very nice. You could have just done squares, and I love the fact that you didn't just do a square in the middle. You went, no, we're going to make it more interesting than that. Going to do a little, little,
yeah. Gonna do points on them and make them into, you could have done 2 rectangles and a square. I don't know, but I love these shapes.
I like this. I like this attention to detail. It's fabulous.
Yeah, and then I've got in your pack you get, as well as the arrows, I've actually got you some squares and some triangles to slot in. So here, this particular one is made up of, so I've pre-basted these because I knew I would have already shown you how to baste a few shapes by now. So this shape here is made up of 2 arrows and then 2 of the triangles. So that makes a...
Oh, nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So if you had, I'm just going to show you how you would use the squares as well. So if you have, I've got the layout inside the pattern, so it's fine. But this would make one of the crosses.
Yep. And
you would fill the gap with a square.
Very nice.
This is so you don't end up, with the cushion you cut the shape out at the end, you cut the square, you square it off. But with this one you actually get the exact right shape for the tote bag.
Brilliant.
So there's no cutting or anything. Take your papers out at the end. Perfect. I was going to say, at the end of all of these projects, if you've taken your papers out as you go along, you will have the edge pieces still in. So I would say just lightly press them, the edge pieces, and then take them out. Because it just keeps the edge folded over. But if it flips out, it doesn't matter, because you're going to quilt the tops and cut them off anyway. So that works fine. So for this one, for making one of the... what do you call them? So what is it, an arrow? You will just, again, place.
Did you find yourself lying them all out on your...
Oh yeah, I did that because I basted all these shapes first and then I moved them around just to check what, which look best together. But like I said, again, it's the same. I've referred them to as fabric 1, 2 or fabric A and B. So you can choose which fabrics you want where on the front, or just look at my layout pictures and count, and you can work out which ones.
The thing is, once you've done this is what I love about this kit, is when you've done it once, you'll have a fabulous bag, but you have the papers and the instructions to make it again and again in whatever fabrics you then choose on top of that, because this is going to be one of those bags that people go, wow, that's amazing, where did you get it? Or, oh, could you make me one?
Yeah, and the great thing is, because it just uses strips.
Yeah.
It could be a great scrappy one, because every cross could be a completely different fabric, so it could be a good stash buster.
Or if you've got some leftover strips from a jelly roll.
Yeah, yeah. That would be great.
So we've got a few minutes left. Are there any top tips that you need to share with us?
I think I've been giving most of my tips as I've gone along, like remove the card after you've sewn around all edges to make your card last longer. Glue onto the fabric, not the card, should make it last longer. And have fun.
I think that is key.
Enjoy it. Enjoy yourself while you're doing it. And don't rush it. Don't rush it at all, because it's such a nice, relaxing technique to do.
I always think things like embroidery and English paper piecing are the best value for money, because pound to time spent is fabulous. But just relax and enjoy the colours. You're getting great quality fabrics. You've got really clear instructions with any of these kits that you're choosing. And if this is your first time going into English paper piecing, you are going to love it. It should come with a warning. It is a little bit addictive.
Very addictive.
And yeah, like I say, just set an alarm if you need to be anywhere. That's my top tip, because you'll get so engrossed. Ask me how I know that you'll be late for stuff. $28.99, 183905. Jenny, are you coming back? When are you coming back, and what are you bringing us?
Oh, that is a big question.
Lots of questions.
I definitely hope to come back,
Good.
but I'm not sure what I'll be bringing you. EPP, probably EPP, maybe with a mixture of like block quilting. I don't know.
Oh.
Could be anything, but there will be EPP in there. Of course there will be.
Of course there will. Brilliant. Jenny, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank
Do
you.
make sure you check out your baskets. Lots of you sitting with it in your basket. It's one of those things, isn't it? The demos are mesmerising, so just enjoy it. And when you get the kits, honestly, I've known Jenny for some time now, and her instructions are so clear. So if this is your first foray into the wonderful world of English paper piecing, you are in super safe hands. $28.99 for either of the tote bags there. Oh, decisions, your quilts and your cushions, which to go for. But pop it in your basket, check it out and enjoy. Jenny, thank you so much for joining us. Have a very safe journey home. And we hope to see you again very soon with more gorgeous loveliness. Just wonderful. So yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed Jenny's show. She is, of course, our new supplier. #Sews where to see it. We'll see you again in just a few moments.